Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. May peace and power elevation be to all of you on this beautiful Saturday on July the 8th of 2023. And we are going to be doing I am going to be doing a subject on Mutulu Shakur, right? So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share the channel, all right? So, as some of you may know, or there are those who may not know that Mutulu Shakur has made his transition on July the 6th of 2023. Now, just give a little bit information about him, and I'm going to get into more detail. Mutulu Shakur was a former Black Panther, right? And he was also in the Black Liberation Army. He was the second husband of the late Afeni Shakur and the stepfather of Tupac Shakur. So he has played his contribution into the Black Liberation Movement, Black Revolutionary Movement. So he died at the age of 72 because he was battling with the long-term illness of cancer. All right, so he was granted parole around 2022. Okay, so that was June of 2022. And again, he made his transition on July the 6th. So now I have some reading materials that I can go over. Okay, and then I also want to give you guys a book suggestion for y'all to check out. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get started with the information. So now let's walk through this. Okay. So according to the source from WikiOne, it said that he was born Gerald Wayne Williams on August 8th of 1950. And he was an American activist, right? And a stepfather of Tupac. He was a former member of the Black Liberation Army. Sentenced to 60 years in prison for his involvement in the 1981 robbery of a Brink armored truck in which a guard and two officers were murdered. He was politically active as a teen with the Revolutionary Action Movement and later the Black Separatist Movement of the Republic of New Africa. He was the stepfather of slain actor and rapper Tupac Shakur. He was on November the 10th of 2022, the United States Parole Commission granted Shakur's release on parole. Effective of December 16, 2022, the commission noted that Shakur's terminal illness ensured that he was not a threat to commit another crime. All right. So again, say he was born in Baltimore, Maryland. He grew up in Jamaica, Queen, New York, with his mother, who was blind, and younger sister. So by his teen, he was politically active in the Revolutionary Action Movement. He joined the Republic of New Africa. So in 1970, he began working with the Lincoln Detox Program, which offered drug rehabilitation for heroin addicts and using acupuncture instead of the FDA-approved drug methadone. Eventually, he became the program assistant director and remained associated with the program until 1978. He became certified and licensed to practice acupuncture in the state of California in 1979. He went on to help found and direct the Black Acupuncture Advisory Association of North America and the Harlem Institute of Acupuncture. So, for those who may not know what acupuncture is when people are laying down on like a bed or something and they stick like these little sticks inside of you. So which supposed to help numb the pain and just cleanse your body out. It's like a form of detoxing. So what a person has to do is they have to lay down and then they have to get stick with those little sticks. So they put those sticks on your back. They can put it on your stomach. They could put it on your legs. So basically it just helps to detox the body. So that's the whole purpose of acupuncture. Okay. So he was one of the several Black Liberation Army members to carry out the 1981 robbery of an armed car, aided by the May 19 Communist Organization and former members of the Weather Underground. The BLA crew stole $1.6 million in cash from a Brink armed car at the Nanu Mall in Nanu, New York, killing a Brink guard. Peter Page seriously wounded another Brink's guard, Joseph Tribunal and subsequently killing two New York police officers, Edward O'Grady and Waverly Brown. So Tribunal recovered from the wounds he sustained in this incident, dying on September the 11th of 2001 in the September 11 attack while guarding his Brinks truck in a parking garage beneath one of the towers as fellow Brinks employees who arrived in his truck, all of whom survived, attempted to complete their assignment in various World Trade Center offices. All right. So it says that he was the alleged ringleader of the group, evaded capture for 6 years, and thus was the last one to go on trial on charges related to the robbery. So in 1980, Shakur and Marilyn Buck were indicted on racketeer influence and corrupt organization act charges, while at large on July 23rd, 1982, he became the 380th person to be added on the FBI 10 most wanted fugitives list. He was arrested on February the 12th of 1986 in California by the FBI. Shakur and Buck were tried in 1987 and convicted on May 11th of 1988. All right, so although federal parole was abolished pursuant to the Sentencing Reform Act of 1984, Shakur's convictions were exempt because the act's provision did not take effect until 1987. Thus, under the rules in effect at the time of his conviction, he was due to a mandatory parole determination after serving 30 of his original 60-year sentence, which came in 2016. However, the United States Parole Commission denied his release in 2016, 2018, and early 2022. So on November 10th of 2022, the commission reconsidered and granted Shakur release on parole effective December 16th of 2022. Right? In light of his decline in health, Shakur was in fact released on December 16th of 2022. So in 1975, he married Afeni Shakur, the mother of Tupac. They had a daughter named Sakiwa. They divorced in 1982. So in October 2019, Shakur renewed his quest for a reduction of sentence by applying for compassionate release, but relief was once again denied. So in June of 2022, it was revealed that Shakur had terminal bone marrow cancer with 6 months to live. He died from the disease on July 6th of 2023 at the age of 72. All right. So that's that information. And then I want to go into the information about the whole acupuncture, right? All right. So the use of acupuncture in the treatment of drug addiction. Let me zoom this up just a little bit. So Mutulu Shakur and Michael Smith, all right, Lincoln Detox Program, 304090 East 140th Street, Bronx, New York, 10451. Okay, so it goes into the abstract. And says a practical approach is present in the use of acupuncture to treat drug addiction, allowing heroin and methadone addicts to detoxify more comfortably, more quickly, and with far less narcotic intake than with the standard method of methadone detoxification. Right. So I'm just gonna go into this first paragraph right here. Okay. So it talks about the detox. The Lincoln Detox Program has been using acupuncture to treat drug abuse problems for 5 years. We have helped several thousand patients. Acupuncture allows people addicted to heroin and methadone to detoxify more comfortably, more quickly, and with far less narcotic intakes than the standard method of methadone detoxification. Severe prolonged withdrawal symptoms of methadone addiction, such as insomnia, bone pain, and depression, are untreatable by strengthening normal physiological process and helping the person cope with anxiety in a relaxed manner. So acupuncture is considered a method of natural healing because it works by stimulating the flow of natural energies in the body. In contrast, medications such as penicillin or methadone act by altering certain biological cells, often the light touch of a finger is just as effective as an acupuncture treatment than a relatively strong electrical stimulation. We cannot explain or understand acupuncture in the same way that we explain Western medical treatments. 10 milligrams of morphine have a predictable effect on the perception of pain all over the body. So, stimulation of the Haku point, which is large intestine 4 on the hand, does not have the same kind of predictable effect. Differences in the balance of body energy flow will have a great effect on the result of Haku stimulation. So acupuncture therapists can never rely on standardized treatment plans, but always must discover the day-to-day changes in the patient energy flow. Then it goes on to say acupuncture is a form of self-help therapy because the patient owns on rebalance energy flows provide most of the health giving relief. Acupuncture works like a momentary verbal suggestion which triggers a whole new series of ideas. Acupuncture is nevertheless a highly specific and effective form of medical treatment. So great confusion has been caused by the unfortunate assumption that acupuncture can be explained by the same kind of analysis that is used to explain most Western medical treatments. Those of us who are familiar with acupuncture and with the drug abuse field must accept the challenge to explain acupuncture effectively and establish it as one of the primary forms of treatment in our field. So this is an extremely vital challenge because acupuncture is a safe, inexpensive, and non-addicting form of treatment. The use of acupuncture could greatly reduce the need for most treatment programs to be centered around the administration of an addicting drug. It says many people have been very receptive to the establishment of acupuncture and other natural healing techniques in the drug abuse field. We received many requests for site visit papers on acupuncture and training session from people who want to use acupuncture in their drug program setting. An equal number of drug abuse specialists are intensely skeptical about acupuncture. We respect the skepticism that is due to a lack of positive concern information. Indeed, most of us were skeptical about acupuncture when we first heard about it. Okay. So this is the article that was written about the acupuncture. And again, it was written by Mutulu Shakur and Michael Smith. All right, in the Lincoln Detox program. Okay. And then also, here's another one called A Truth and Reconciliation Proposal for Black Political Imprisonment Here and Now Symposium by Dr. Mutulu Shakur. All right, so this was written on January the 1st of 2021. All right, so from Dr. Mutulu Shakur, January 1st of 2021, this paper is a response to question and concern regarding the discussion paper of the application of a Truth and Reconciliation Tribunal that addressed the conflict between the civil rights Black liberation struggle against the U.S. COINTELPRO low intensity warfare. So there are some among our ranks who have raised some legitimate and novel questions and concerns as to why I have chosen to espouse the South African Truth and Reconciliation Commission process. I do this to shed light on and to gain relief for our political prisoners and allies of the Black Liberation Movement. Below, I will endeavor to address some of the questions and concerns. The people in South Africa have or had serious problem with the TRC, right? And put together by the ANC. The people in South Africa believe that the national leaders sold them out by allowing their names to be used as ones that were heading up the commission. 3, the people in South Africa believe that the illegal regime used the process to absolve the state apparatus of its complicity in crimes against humanity and circumvent judicial review under the International Court in The Hague. All right, so it says the people in South Africa believes that the Africans/blacks would be and were the only ones telling the truth. So it's important to acknowledge and understand that activists in our movement who had made an effort to build support for the political prisoners and prisoners of war in the United States have utilized and exhausted all available avenues that were open to them to gain relief for our freedom fighters. So we should understand that a process that gains relief for our freedom fighters should naturally contain the memorializing of our rich history of our contemporary resistance to the repressive racism, economic apartheid. So this history is important for the present generation of activists who seem to have no notion of the countless and enormous sacrifices that were made to pave the way for their present condition. All right, so then it goes on to say, we must address the prevailing amnesia. We must be successful in our earnest endeavor in the development of a mass base that, through its will and organizational accomplishment, usher in a victory that accepts the existence of new African freedom fighters. So it says the false equating of our freedom fighters, political prisoners, and prisoners of wars to the so-called terrorists must be vehemently combated, for we are not terrorists. The government has won the battle of molding and shaping the narrative that those of us who dare to resist oppression without passing go are terrorists. Terrorism is just another method of resisting which should not, as it exists today, include new African freedom fighters and our armed resistance to oppression here in the United States. It's important to understand the effect of the oppressor's propaganda has had on the normal activist's willingness to become engaged. All right. So it says the word terrorist, unlike communists and fascists, is being abused by the oppressors as it disguises reality and impoverishes languages that makes a banality out of the discussion of war, revolution, conflict, and politics. As Christopher Hitchens once said, it's the perfect instrument for the cheapening of public opinion and for the intimidation of dissent. It says a process that is developed on a Truth and Reconciliation Commission and or the tribunals have been the model used around the world. It allows for open discussion on the issues of resistance versus the state. It allows for a definition of terrorism that does not criminalize legitimate forms of resistance against oppression. It equally provides an avenue for healing and rebuilding, or at the very least, it provides a starting point post-conflict. All right. So it's a lot of information, but again, this is his supporting, right? This is his proposal about the truth and reconciliation. All right. So um he's speaking on the behalf of other political prisoners out there. And by him using that proposal, it's pretty much his way of protesting against false imprisonment and um, fighting for the liberation of political prisoners. That was his own way of doing so. So that's that particular information. Let's see. And the book that I want to recommend you guys to check out, and I will post in my description link, this book right here. This book that I'm posting up is called Imprisoned Intellectual: Americans, Political Prisoners' Right on Life, Liberation, and Rebellion. Okay, and so it was edited by Joy James. Okay, so I want you guys to check that book out to learn more about the political prisoners and their liberation, their fight against oppression. All right. So that's all I have for today. And with that being said, may Mutulu Shakur rest in peace. All right. And may all the other ancestors that was part of the Black Liberation Army and the Black Panther Party rest in peace as well. And hopefully one day, all the rest of them that's currently locked up, they become free so they can be able to return home to their families and be able to live the remaining lives until it's time for them to make their transition. Okay. So hopefully one day Mumia Abu Jamal will get out of prison, right, and be able to go home to his loved ones so he can be able to have his own peace. All right. So until then, y'all take it easy. Peace and power elevation. It's your girl Tiffany. And I'm logging off, and I will make sure I post up the book for you guys, or post up the links, and you guys will read it for yourselves. All right. Peace.